So after John block sanded the 65 Chevelle's body and the spray polyester down to a 220 grit surface, we disassembled the whole car because we no longer needed the body panels to be lined up for the next phase, which was primer. Then we went ahead and masked the Chevelle's body for primer so that we wouldn't get overspray on the bottom side or the inside of the car. The primer layer is the last layer of sandable material before you put the car in a sealer, which is followed by the base coat. So we were getting close. To prep the previous surface, John first blew the car out and then wiped it down with an appropriate wax and grease remover. And then just before spray time, it was wiped down with a tack rag to minimize any dust. Then John mixed up a batch of DuPont Hot Prime primer, and this time it was reduced with its appropriate amount of reducer and activator. And when you pour the Hot Prime right out of the can, it comes out pretty thick, but once you start cutting it down with the reducer and the activator, it actually becomes pretty thin and it sprays really nice. For this task, John used the SATA KLC HVLP spray gun, and this gun is designed to spray primers and other materials that are a little bit heavier with bigger particles, and it does a good job of atomizing those into a nice pattern so they spray out smoothly without wasting a lot of material and overspray. John started this spray on the roof in the center of the car and then worked his way to the edges and then down the sail panels and eventually down to the bottom of the quarter panels and through the door jambs and everything. And he did it this way to make sure that he minimized the risk of coming in contact with a wet part of the car, either with part of his paint suit or his air hose or anything. After the body got several full coats of primer, it was rolled out of the paint booth and in came the front sheet metal parts, the doors, the rear deck lid, and the fenders. And these had already been painted on the inside with Eastwood's Extreme Ceramic Chassis Black, and we didn't want to overspray, this primer or anything else onto the nice inside of the panels. So everything got masked once again, went through a whole bunch of 3M masking tape and paper to make sure that we had no overspray on the backside of any of the panels. Now once the parts are in place and masked, they're all wiped down again. I guess first they're blown off and then wiped down with a wax and grease remover and then a tack rag right before the application of the DuPont Hot Prime. And you'll notice he also used the 3M PPS cup system, which allows you to mix your material and pour it into the PPS cup, and when you're finished painting, you just throw the liner or the cup away, and you end up using a lot less solvent to clean the gun, and you're not wasting a bunch of solvent cleaning the cup, and it also has a scale built in if you need to measure stuff. So it makes things a little bit quicker and a lot less waste. The Hot Prime laid out nice and smooth. It looked really good. This material is suitable to spray over thin spots or what they call sand-throughs. If you have a little spot of bare metal, the Hot Prime is designed to adhere to that. And the next step, Nathan actually came in and sanded the whole body and all the sheet metal with a wet sand process down to a 600 grit, because the next steps are the more dramatic ones. It's going to get a layer of sealer, and then finally we'll start to see some color sprayed on our 65 Chevelle.